Florida shooter makes his first court appearance. Why? Because there are a lot of people who are going to come across this. It just happened the other day. Let me educate you guys on something that happened in that case. It has nothing to do with this young man. I don't care if this young man is deranged. I don't care if he actually did it. I don't care if he actually admitted anything. Okay? Let's talk about what happened at the hearing. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down my boy Keith Sweat, because he's speaking about doing things the right and the wrong way. Okay? And we're going to let Keith talk about that another time. Okay? See ya! And we're going to get back to this. Nope, got to get rid of that too. Where's my... See, that's the problem. I just shut it all down. Let's get back here. All right, this is the video I'm looking for. No, that's not the video I'm looking for. I'm looking for this hearing. So it's probably going to be this one right here, because that's the one I saw. Let's make sure something. No, that's CNN. I'm looking for the actual hearing. It's got it. Let's do this one. Let's do the full screen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Melissa McNeil on behalf of Mr. Cruz.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Now, this is what I need you all to pay attention to. This whole room is not at the court. This is at the jail. Ask yourself the question, why do they need 15 officers in this room? There's nobody else in the room but this guy, these two morons, he barely says a word, these two morons, and him. So why all of these officers? Because they all knew that this would be played on national TV. I would love to show you the interview where the sheriff is giving a briefing and they're getting ready to do the talking, and how there's a black guy standing back there with a bunch of other white officers, but the black guy is only in a shirt and tie, the other individual's in a suit and tie, and the black guy is standing there, and the white guy literally pushes him out of the way and pushes him backwards to take his position, and you could see that somebody wasn't happy, okay? This is all for show. This is all for theatrics, for the media, because they need to portray an image. So let's roll.
Are you Nicholas Jacob Cruz?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Now, you notice the first thing she asked him, she gave him 3 names. Are you Nicholas Jacob Cruz? And he says, yes, I am. Okay, so now he's admitted to being the defendant. Now, it's okay. You guys, you understand how the game is played, and it's all right. But let's see what the judge does next.
Sir, you are charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder. I have something very important to tell you. You're charged with some very...
Hold on. Pay attention. She says, I have something very important to tell you. Pay attention to how important this is, what she is about to tell him.
Very serious crimes. You have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right at any time during this hearing, whatever you say can and...
You have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right at any time, don't worry about the during this hearing part. Anything you say can be used against you. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to speak. Invoke your right to remain silent. But some of you can't handle that because they'll start talking psychological evaluation, no bail, all of this other stuff, because you get stirred. And that's okay. But if I'm in his situation, where I got 17 counts of premeditated murder, I know I'm not defending the young man. I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he didn't do it. I'm not there. Okay? I feel sorry for the people who lost their lives, especially those children who woke up in the morning went to school and were expecting to go home, or had other things planned, or planned on doing things this weekend, or planned on doing things next month, or was planning on graduating at the end of the year. I feel sorry for them because he just killed all of their plans. He just affected those 17 people. You have to take that 17, you have to multiply it by a factor of 3. Then you have to multiply it by a factor of 3 again. Then you have to multiply it by a factor of 3 again until you reach 10 times. That's the number of people that are directly affected by this incident, because at least 3 loved ones of each of those individuals were affected. Then you got the family who took him in after his mother died. But he's a very troubled youth. This has nothing to do with whether or not he's troubled. There are a lot of troubled youth and a lot of troubled adults out there. They don't do what they're claiming he did. We still have not found out how they ended up finding him. See, we're told he went to a McDonald's, and then he went to, I think, a Starbucks. Oh, no. What's that stupid thing called? Subway. Ladies and gentlemen, if he went to a McDonald's and he went to a Subway, how did they find him? Good policing. No. Well, an Uber driver said he dropped him off. Yes, but this is a police investigation. And when you pay attention, when the media asks questions about ongoing investigations, I'm sorry, there's no comment. There's an ongoing investigation. But they're revealing all the information in this case and in the other cases. There have been 18 shootings in schools or involving a school this year. At least 7 of them have involved gunmen. The other one were so-called inadvertent. There's actually 19, because the very next day after this incident, an officer, literally, they claim, discharged his weapon, injuring himself in the school. So that makes 19. They're not reporting that one as a school shooting, but it was on a school campus. It was an officer who inadvertently had his gun go off or discharged his weapon, is what they said. Excuse me, why is he discharging his weapon? Go back and look at how many times an officer in a school discharged his weapon. It doesn't happen. But this one did. So there's more to that story than they're not telling us, but that's okay. I'm not the conspiracy theorist. All I want you to understand is she told him
will be used against you in the process.
Will be used against you. Anything he said.
Prosecution of this case.
In the prosecution of this case. Now remember, she just said during this hearing, but she said in the prosecution of this case. Why is she giving him this warning? Because he has to be informed of the charges against him. That anything he says will be used to prosecute him. It will be used against him. This happens to each one of you. People like me can tell you this every single year. But this day, you heard the actual judge say it. Let's go back and let's let her tell it again, because y'all don't hear me go.
Prosecution of this case.
No, we didn't get
Whatever you say, you give up that right at any time during this hearing. Whatever you say can and will be used against you in the prosecution of this case.
Okay? If you give up that right to remain silent, yes, you have the right to remain silent even during pre-trial hearings. I'm a person who actually did that. Twice! Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the first time, psychological evaluation, no problem. No, second time, sorry. The first time, they couldn't do a psychological evaluation. Because I wasn't going to talk anymore until we set and impanel the jury. And I told you the look on the stupid judge's face was fear. I'm not joking with you. I'm telling you the truth. I was there. I sat there and watched her with fear. She wasn't pretending. She wasn't pretending. And then I allowed her to say something to which I responded and reacted to. And the moment I responded, she I am not joking about this, people. This was actual live coverage of that hearing, me running it over in my head every single day since it happened. That was my fault for opening my mouth. And then they'll force an attorney on you. And what the attorney will say is that such and such, such and such has decided to cooperate or has been cooperating with the defense attorney, and I believe we're ready to move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, without your participation, without your active participation and cooperation, they cannot move forward. The case is at a standstill. They need you to participate. Hold on. Let her tell it to you again.
If you give up that right at any time during this hearing, whatever you say can and will be used against you in the prosecution of this case.
That's even to the court officers. Officers, 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 officers of the court, including this moron. I did not make this up. You are hearing it from the actual person who they're referring to as a judge. And pay attention, her name is in all capital letters. She's an officer of the court. This is the capacity for which she's sitting. Okay? Please be advised. Excuse me? You're getting notices. She's giving notices. Nobody pays attention to this stuff, but I did the moment I heard it. The moment I heard her say, hold on, we're going to go here.
Premeditated murder. I have something very important to tell you. You're charged with some very serious crimes. You have the right to remain silent. If you give...
She told him, you have the right to remain silent. Now, remember, he gave the name first. She didn't give him that before he gave up the name. Why? Because he now labeled himself as, I'm here to testify against myself.
Give up that right at any time during this hearing. Whatever you say can and will be used against you in the prosecution of this case.
She said the prosecution of this case as in totality, not in this hearing. So she's not talking specifically about this hearing. She's talking about the entire case. And he's going to go back to his cell. Now, understand, this thin, little, frail little creature is locked in a cell by himself. They have him in isolation. They probably have cameras on him because of all of the media hype. So he doesn't get to communicate much with any of the other inmates. Okay? They're not going to allow that. Just in case, somebody decides to kill him because they knew some of the people or they felt for some of those kids who died, they're going to make sure that he be protected for the media. Any other case, they would throw him in general population and he would have to deal with it. And especially because Mr. Cruz, skin color, bad time for him. Okay? Feel sorry for the young man, and I feel sorry for the families, but I feel sorry for this young man because I don't know what happened. They did not find the weapon on him. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. They did not find the weapons on him. They did not find the clips on him. Go back and look at the arrest of him. Pay attention. When they arrested him, there was a camera there. And it wasn't a camera from the police, their vests and their stuff. It was a camera from someone else taking a photo of this arrest. Why was there a camera there? And why were they taking photos of this character? And why was he arrested on a grass surface? He wasn't caught running, but he was arrested on a grass surface. But there were no clips on him. Take a look at the arrest. He has no magazines from no machine gun. But pay attention. The police have said that this is the guy. They said he confessed. How many times have you heard people say that people confess? Now look, they said he's narcissistic. They say that he was psycho. Ladies and gentlemen, They say it's part of the ROTC and blah, 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 all kind of rumors. If they got to make them out to be crazy, they got to make them out to be mentally ill. That's what they have to do. They do this in every single case. Look at the shootings that happened in Northeast U.S. During the early 2000s. Each one of those shootings, all of them.
State, how would you like to proceed today? Are you seeking
disability?
To hold
Sorry,
the
I hit the button by accident. Okay. They say that the person's had some mental disabilities, and that being the case, nah, we got to do that, and then there we go. There's our picture. They always claim that these individuals have mental disabilities. They always claim that there's a psychological problem so that they can throw any bizarre story out there because they're talking to the potential jurors. They're trying to taint the jury pool. This is what they do. Okay. Oh, you guys know he's not actually climbing a wall? No, this picture is inverted. This picture should be parallel. He's actually going along the ground. Just kidding. Anyway, this is just so those of you who have a mentality, who understand how things are going, understand that when you go into a courtroom during any proceeding, especially that for which you are accused or your state agency is accused of committing any type of infraction, whether it be traffic, whether it be ordinance, whether it be criminal, whether it be civil. Everything you say is used against you. And remember, the attorney, the first thing she said, she was there on behalf of Mr. Cruz. And they referred to him as Mr. Cruz throughout. Why? Because he has just become the client. And we all know that a client is a ward of the court. He has no rights, and that his attorney must represent the interests of the court ahead of his own. Just type in attorney-client and just put in corpus juris secundum. Well, let's do it, shall we? Hold on, everyone. Corpus juris secundum, definition of attorney-client. See Lawyer Code of Ethics. 7, Corpus juris secundum, Section 4. An attorney is an officer of the court with an obligation to the court and the public as well as to his client. That as well as to his clients, you got to read the rest of it. Okay? And this ain't even from Wikipedia. Okay? But let's go here so that you guys understand what's going on with the young man in that courtroom. We're going to make this just a little bit bigger. Okay? Definition, don't really care about Black's Law definition, but to turn over, to agree to recognize a new owner of property or an estate, or promise to pay a rent to him. Attorney, in the most general sense of this term, denotes an agent or substitute or one who is appointed or authorized to act in place of or instead of another. What is an attorney's duty and to whom? Let's pay attention. I don't care about that section right there. I care about corpus juris secundum, attorney and client. His first duty is to the court and the public, not to the client. Do you see, when we read it earlier, it didn't say, and not to the client. That's why this definition is the one we go. Why do we use this definition? Pay attention. And whenever or wherever or however these duties conflict, meaning his duties to speak on behalf of his client, with those he owes as an officer of the court in the administration of justice, the former, his client, yields to the latter. In other words, the attorney's first duty. The former, which is the one his client, this is the former, yields to the latter, the court. Okay? The office of the attorney is an indispensable one in the administration of justice and is intimate and peculiar in its relationship to and vital to the well-being of the court, not the client. Remember, I thought, ladies and gentlemen, that pay attention, that an attorney-client relationship was sanctimonious. An attorney has a duty to aid the court in seeing that actions and proceedings in which he is engaged as counsel are conducted in a dignified and orderly manner, free from passion and personal animosities, and that all causes brought to an issue are tried and decided on their merits only. What are the merits? Whatever the court says they are. You feel me? That's what you need to know. Sorry, I don't want that. I need to go down here. Now, I don't know where 2.3 is, attorney-client. I think it is still corpus juris secundum. Yes, I'm pretty certain. If one appears before any court in the interest of another and moves the court to action with respects to any matter before it of a legal nature, such a person appears as an advocate, as the term is generally understood. The phrase is as an advocate of a representative in a representative capacity, as used in a substitute or a statute regulating the practice of law. See? Regulating the practice of law. There is no regulation for the practice of law. Sorry, the state can't make a law. Implies a representation distinct from officer or other regular administrative corporate employee representation. This is where you need to go to understand what's going on in there. So I am grateful and glad that I was able to bring this information to your attention. And again, this video will simply be entitled this. Now, I got some work I have to take care of, so see ya! Have a nice day.